Let's see how we go. Back at Team GB again. Always grateful to be here with my new mate, fresh off a fight, who I'm very grateful to be here with, Claire Lopez. Thank you very much for doing this. So, as I say, before we get into anything else, you're fresh off a fight, right? You just came back from Oklahoma, I think you just told me, right?
Yep.
13 hours on a plane, jet lag, trained like an animal today.
I'm trying.
And here we are. So before we get into any of that and all like what's going on currently with feedback, you said you want to fight soon, all that stuff, and we'll talk about the fight you just had. But where are you from originally, and how does a French girl get into fighting?
Yeah, so I'm French. I come from French Guiana in South America. I've been living there for 10 years, since I'm 17 to 27. My son was born there. And I start boxing, so Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu there. And I think my life was maybe too boring. I don't know. But yeah, so one day my flat burned out in the night. So I lost everything there. And for me, it was like a sign. I was like, maybe I have to change my life and do something exciting in my life. Something that makes sense for me. And that's when I decided to leave French Guiana. So in South America, I lived and I moved in France and I started MMA. So that's when I started MMA 8 years ago in Paris. And yeah, I started MMA in Paris. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So fairly late. You didn't start MMA as a kid?
No, no way. No, I was a gymnast, high level gymnast.
Oh,
yeah.
That helps, right? That
it
helps.
helps a lot. Yeah. So for 10 years, I've done 25 hours a week of training. That was really hard, really tough.
Okay.
But it built like a good mindset, you know, a lot of discipline and the hard training, hard work.
One of the hardest sports, right? I mean,
I think
obviously
so.
the sport you do now is probably harder, but like in terms of physicality,
to be honest, I think it was harder when I was a gymnast.
Really, yeah.
First, because I was younger, I started at 6. So when you start 6 years old, then it's really hard like that. It's different than when you're adult, you know. And yeah, it's really hard sport. When you watch gymnastics, you think like, oh, it looks easy because it's graceful, it's beautiful, but it's really hard. Yeah, it's 5 hours, 6 hours a day of training, and but yeah, of course MMA is harder. So it's
different
just
hard, isn't it? It's a different type, isn't it? Because obviously you're getting kicked in the head.
Different, but it's like you're training less, but it's more intense when you train. And of course, yeah, you have this pain, this fight. Of course, it's not easy, but you get used to at the end, and it's not really. I think it's not the most the harder in this sport. It's not the punches, the bruises. It's just every day the sacrifice you do, you know, especially because I'm a mom, I have a life in France, so yeah, that's the hardest part of my
serious dedication, that isn't it? That's real. So French Guiana, I didn't notice. I just assumed France because you said to me you was French. But like, what's that like? Is it very French over there?
So it's between Brazil and Suriname. So you have a little French land.
Is that right? Yeah, you have a little
it's in the Amazonia, you know. So
Suriname's Dutch, I think, right? And like whatever. So and Portuguese,
so
obviously Brazil.
3 Guyana, the British. Old British Guiana, the Hollandese and the French Guiana.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what is it? When I say is it very French? Obviously, like you speak French and whatnot. But is it you can move to France and it's kind of one country?
It's French. Yeah, it's still French. It's like a French area, but in South America.
I got you.
And but it's completely different than France. Obviously, it's a different life. It was when I was young, I was there. It was a lot of party.
Is that right?
A lot of alcohol. Yeah, I was younger. It was a different life. But yeah, at the end, after 10 years, it's cool to have fun like that. But it's not life. I mean, I want to have goals in my life. I want to have ambition. And yeah, that's when I decided to move is because I wanted to do something great in my life and not just partying and chilling and you know.
Yeah. You can do that when you're retired anyway, right?
To be honest, I've stopped everything since I started MMA.
Yeah, I think you have to.
My life is still boring now, but different.
I guess. But like, take us back a little bit. Like you said, obviously you was a good gymnast. You started at 6. Like, because the reason I ask as well is I'm a big believer in gymnastics is a great complement to any sport. I started doing gymnastics not for competition, but I started doing gymnastics sort of in my early 20s to help my sport and stuff, and I found it made a massive help. But like, when you're a real gymnast, if you like, we'll call it a real gymnast, like what's a week look like? Because obviously we know, we'll get into your fight training in a minute, but we know roughly sort of what fight camp looks like, you know, twice a day typically, blah blah. What's a gymnast? Because you said 25 hours a week. That's no joke.
So basically you're going to school in the morning. You have a different schedule at school, so you're only going to school in the morning. Then they pick you up to train. So you train 1 hour and a half. So you do maybe more strength and conditioning and I don't know, the beam, for example, for an hour. Then you eat in the gym. So they cook for you because they really strict with food, you know. They cook for you. Then you do your homework in the gym with someone who's there for you. And then you come back to training at 3 p.m. until 7 p.m., something like that. And then you go home, you eat, you sleep, and you don't really see your parents, you don't really see your family. When I remember about gymnastics, I remember more about my coaches, not my parents, like about education, you know what I mean? I've seen more of my coaches than my parents. And yeah, that was this every day, Monday to Friday. And yeah, for 4 hours at the afternoon, you do everything. You do the bar, the floor exercise, you know, you do a lot of training. You train in the Saturday morning also. And during holidays, you train. You have only 3 weeks of holidays in summer. But you have like homework because they say, okay, when you go in holidays, do your push-up, do your...
Yeah, you can't come back like...
No, you can't. Yeah, it's really hard when you stop because this sports is really ungrateful because
and especially gymnasts, you tell me as well, but I think like gymnastics, more than maybe any other sport, is one of them sports you have to start young, right? You can't start when you're 15.
You have to start young. If you start at 12, you're already
too old
for the high level, you know. So yeah, you have to start young. And when I was 6, I have a lot of muscle, you know, I was like a little, little beast. And yeah, they saw me and they was like, oh yeah, you want to go in like a center, you know, to a high level. And I was like, yeah, why not?
When you're 6, they're asking you this.
Yeah, I don't even remember. But for me, I was someone really quiet. I was a quiet kid, you know, and really shy. So when they said, you want to train more, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. But I didn't know that would be so hard. But I made it for 11 years and yeah, I had some great
yeah, that's serious, isn't it, man? Like that. What's the thinking of that? Are they putting you in that with like the goal of you going to an Olympics or something like that, or is it not?
Yeah, so when I was really young, I wanted to go to the Olympic in China, the one in
Beijing, 2008, I think.
Yeah, 8, yeah. But when I was a gymnast, I was stubborn, I think. I wanted... Yeah, sometimes I think I don't know how to say in English, but when you know you can be good, but you're gonna show that no, I'm not gonna be good today, just to upset you.
Yeah,
you know
I understand what you're saying.
And yeah, I could have been really good, but I think I was not.
Yeah.
I
didn't want to be told what to do, type thing.
Yeah, and you have to love it a lot, you know. And I think at some point I started loving it because it was so hard and it was just like a job when you're a kid, you know.
Yeah, of course.
I started enjoying when I was 15, but it was too late.
Really? It's too late then?
It was too late to be in the Olympic, everything. So I was still high level, but I was more enjoying and helping my team, you know.
Oh, it's funny that, isn't it? 15, you say to someone's 15, they're too late.
It's really too late. And at 17, I stopped gymnastics. And I felt like, for years after gymnastics, I felt like I didn't finish my work, you know, like, oh, it's too late now. I have regrets. I could have been better, but now it's too late, and I feel frustrating now in my life.
Right, okay.
So I think that's why I started boxing after Muay Thai, because I wanted to finish something or to reach a goal, you know, to do something and finish a work. And yeah, that's why I started boxing. And now I think I have a better mindset.
Right.
And I don't want to give up. I want to go until I'm done.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. And obviously, I mean, it's maybe a silly question, but do you feel like gymnastics helped any kind of fight training you did?
Yeah, a lot, yeah. First, for all the discipline. For example, when I see some people in the gym, the way they talk to the coach, the way they say, oh, today I don't want to train. And I'm like, wow, for me it's crazy because you cannot do that in gymnastics, you know, because the coach is going to come and, what? You don't want to train? But... yeah, the discipline first, and physically you're really athletic. You can do a lot of things. You have a good agility.
Agility. Yep.
It's like wrestling. You can roll anywhere. You know where you are in the space. You know your body very well. it helps a lot, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've been up close to some gymnasts. When I was, like, as I said, when I was in my 20s, I went over to East London to learn how to do flips and stuff, just to help, right? And you know, when you get into a level, well, not for you because you did it from young, but like when you're an adult and you start doing flips and whatever, and you start to go like, yeah, I'm doing all right here, you know? And there was like I think there were a GB team that were girls from like 11 to 14, and they used to sort of come in when we was finishing, and then you go like, I'm wasting my time here, you know. This little girl, she was like, she was kind of giggling at me, and I was like, laughing. I said, what are you laughing at, you know? And she said,
it's easier when you're small, when you're short.
And she said, like, because I was doing like a funny backflip and trying to land, and like, boom, and she was kind of laughing. I said, what's funny? And she went, you look silly. I went, go on, you show me. And she did it. I was like, fair. Okay, all right. I look silly. I got you. But gymnastics is fantastic, and the reason I really delved into it, I think, was like wrestling use a lot of gymnastics, right? And I had another experience with that when I was in Bulgaria training. Like there was a 6 to 9 year olds boys class, and their warm ups was like backflips down the mat. And, you know, you
they all do backflip.
It's like not even a thing to them. It's like a push up or something. But it's great times and great experience. But like when you take that to training now, do you still do any gymnastics as like strength and conditioning or anything like that, or is it just in you?
I think I'm not flexible at all right now. So
really?
I can't really, I can do some backflip. I can do some nice stuff that I could do in the cage if I win a fight.
Right.
But I'm not flexible. You know, my back. I feel like I'm getting older, of course.
Oh, no, don't say that. Listen, don't say that.
The thing is, you have to train every day if you want to keep, your skill. And when I stop gymnastics, I stop at everything.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, I really
stopped.
Okay. Everything. That's why it's hard. When you stop, you start getting fat, if I can say that. And you don't want to train anymore. You don't want to do any gymnastic anymore. So I lost a lot of skill, but I can still do some nice backflips.
I was going to say, you might have lost your skill compared to a gymnast, but compared to a normal person.
It's like automatism. It's part of my body, you know.
Yeah, right.
And also when I do my strength and conditioning, I do some pull-up. It's easier for me because I've done it for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think when anything you've done as a kid, this is, we'll come on to a bit of training and stuff in a sec, but like, when people start fighting, because you started fighting relatively late, right? And people 28, which is, you know, a lot of people go, it's too late, forget it, don't worry. But to me, and it'd be interesting to hear your opinion, as long as you've been sort of athletic before, I don't think it's that, it doesn't really matter when you start as much. Does that make sense? Do you agree with that?
Yeah. And to be honest, I feel better right now. I'm 36 than when I was 20, for example, when I stopped gymnastics. Because, you know, the body is different when you're a teenager, adult, when you start, 20s. But when I start MMA, I felt like my body was ready to fight. I didn't need to wait 2 years of training before to start fighting. I fought 6 months after starting MMA. And I was ready because I know my body. I know I'm physically strong. I'm athletic. So you need the technique, of course, but then it's just a long time.
Of course, but the physicality takes you a long way, doesn't it? Physicality is a big thing.
I was ready physically, so it helps a lot, of course. And you keep this, your muscle memory, you know. You keep this in your body. You feel like you're always strong. I mean, I always feel strong in my life. Physically.
And also at 28, when you start, you haven't been getting punched in the head for 20 years, right? Some people, by the time they're 28, they've been getting punched and kicked for a long time.
So I started Muay Thai when I was 20.
20? Oh, okay.
20,
all right, okay.
So no, I didn't start fighting when I started MMA. I started fighting when I was 20.
I see, okay.
So the things when I went to to French Guiana, I was 17. I stopped gymnastic. I was a coach, a trainer in a gymnastic gym, okay. But I wanted to do another sport. I wanted to come back to competition. And that's why I started Muay Thai. 6 months after, or something like that, I done my first fight in Brazil, in Belém, the jungle.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a jungle,
You go there, what's your weight? Okay, this girl is the same weight. You're going to fight? Yeah, cool. No protection, nothing. There's no amateur, pro, it's just you fight.
Just a fight, yeah.
And I really loved this fight. It was only 2 rounds, draw, but it was really, really intense.
2 rounds and a draw?
Yeah.
Should have just gone, go on, fuck, one more round, go and see, let's see.
I know, it was just first fight for
That's good though, that's good, isn't it?
That was cool, and there was 8 kilo difference between me and her.
Yeah.
But I love the people there, they call me Homizinho, which is a little man, you know.
Is that what they call you?
Because I was like, I have this fire in my soul, you know, and I really loved it. And yeah, so I started getting punched in the face at 20.
Yeah.
And I think I've done for 5 years. I've done Muay Thai. And when I was 24, I wanted to stop. I was like, okay, I'm not enjoying anymore. I want to have a family. I want to have a kid. I have something else in my mind. So I stopped training. I had my son. And 2 years after my son, I was like, I miss training. I don't want to get punched in the face, but maybe I'm going to start Jiu Jitsu. Because back in the time, you know, boxer was saying like, Jiu Jitsu is for gay.
Yeah, 100%.
And Jiu Jitsu was saying, boxing is for stupid people.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, let's try Jiu Jitsu. It looks fun. It looks smart, sport. And I really loved it. I've done some competition, and after Jiu Jitsu and Muay Thai, I was like, now I want to fight again. Now I'm ready to fight again. I miss this adrenaline, you know. And that's when I say, okay, let's try MMA.
That's cool. Where did you start MMA? Was that in French Guiana?
No, so I've trained a little bit in French Guiana, but it's not, you don't have everything to train properly.
Okay, right.
So everyone told me you have to live maybe in France, maybe in USA, anywhere in the world. But if you want to do it, because when I want to do something, I want to do it like a pro, you know, I want to do it great, not just for fun. So I had to leave. I started MMA in France for 2 years in Paris. It was in 2017, and MMA was not legal in France.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was legal in 2020. So the training was not that great, because it's more like you do Muay Thai, you do Jiu Jitsu, you not really do wrestling in France. They're not good at wrestling.
Judo's big in France though, right?
Judo, yeah, more judo. But you do more like Jiu Jitsu and Muay Thai, which is not MMA. MMA is a raw sport, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I've done some fights, good. I started good my career, but then I met someone who became a coach after, and he said, you know what, I'm going to bring you to USA. I'm going to bring you to Las Vegas in my old gym, because he was training there. And you're going to see what MMA is, like professional MMA.
Right.
I said, okay, cool. We went to Las Vegas in 2019, and that was like a fucking big slap in my face. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I thought I was good.
Yeah.
Because in France, everyone was like,
right.
Oh, you good. Where are you 3-0? Wow. No, I was shit. I sparred with UFC fighters. I went to UFC PIs also to train. So I've seen everything. I was amazed. It was like, wow, okay, I want to leave France and go, maybe not USA because it's hard with the visa everything. Yeah. And I had my son also. But I'm like, maybe I'm going to find in Europe a gym where they do good MMA. And yeah, when I came back in France after Las Vegas, I started thinking about moving in a different country. So I moved in London for a week, and I was like, I'm going to try to find a gym. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
After
so
just
a week? I
started
going to Fight Zone, different places in London, until I met this Brad Pickett.
Who's he?
and you know what? I didn't know who was Brad Pickett.
No way, you didn't know who was.
I never watched UFC. And I remember watching Gina Carano versus Cyborg.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, a long time
years
ago. But I was not really, I've never been a fan of MMA, of UFC. Even now, I can't watch a walkout of UFC, you know. It's
that's
like,
funny, that.
Yeah, it's
that's
so
funny.
long sometimes.
Yeah.
Unless I have my friends, because we have UFC fighter in the gym.
Yeah, then it's a party, yeah, it's different.
But if I don't know the people, though, I don't watch MMA. But yeah, so when I met Brad Pickett, I trained with him, and I came back home, I saw my friend, and I was like, I trained with the guy. Man, I want him to be my coach. He's short. He has a good boxing like Mike Tyson. He has amazing wrestling. I want to train with this guy. And there's only lightweight, you know, like bantamweight or flyweight. Lonnie Kavanagh, Louis, there was a lot of short guys. And he watched me and was like, did you train with Brad Pickett? I said, I don't know. I said, look, this guy. I said, he's a fucking legend. He's a UFC fighter. And I was like, oh, nice. I want to train with him. And it was so nice. Brad is so, you know, so fun. So you don't even see that he's used to be a great fighter, you know, someone big in MMA. So for me, it was like, no, he's a cool guy. I want to train with him. And he was like, yeah, cool, but I talk to him and we see.
Yeah.
And Brad said, yeah, of course, you're welcome to come in my
Great
gym.
guy, Brad, by the way. Like I said, who's he messing about? He's coming on. He'll be on the next episode. So like, shout out Brad Pickett. But like, from going from not knowing who he was, obviously. Was he already retired at this point? Was he retired at this point already?
Oh, yeah.
So he'd already stopped fighting, so he's fully focused on coach.
It was 6 years ago, and he stopped fighting 8 years ago.
Okay, cool. So it's funny that, innit? You don't know who he is, and you just start training with this guy. He's pretty good. I guess I'll stick with it.
But then I started watching his fight, and I was like, I love even more this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I love. I'm not really in I don't want to have a perfect record like 30-0. I'm not this kind of person. What I want is to always do exciting fight.
Right.
I want to have fun, and people who watch me have fun, and they remember me for my style and not just for my record.
Yeah.
And Brad is like that. Brad is focused on his performance and not on the results.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw him fight live at the O2 once, and he was all action, man. No messing about. There was no feeling out process in that one.
Win or lose, no boring fight.
That's all right. Yeah, and people will remember you for that forever.
Yeah.
And by the way, if anyone doesn't know, he beat Demetrius Johnson, which is most people's pick as maybe the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So motherfucker can fight too. But when you started, just going back a bit, when you was in France and it's illegal at the time, is it legal to train it or is it completely outlawed?
No, it was legal to train. I think so.
Yeah. Well, I guess people didn't know, right? It's just you're doing whatever.
Yeah. So we had this pancras. So pancras is MMA without ground and pound.
Okay.
Without elbow.
Okay.
So it's kickboxing and grappling.
Right.
So we were allowed to do that. But if you wanted to fight MMA, you have to travel in Poland or Belgium or London, England. So my fight, I fought in Luxembourg, Poland, Germany. Yeah, so I had
that
to
alone's
travel.
Great experience, isn't it? Just going around, it's fun.
That's why I love to travel and fight people in their country.
Okay.
Like challenging them in their country.
Yeah.
So I never fought in my country. I never fought in France. I don't know what is it to fight and have your people around you.
Yeah.
When I go in a fight, I'm like, it's either ooh or it's just silence. Because in Japan, for example, it's silent. But it's different. But I like to travel and fight people in their country.
That's cool though, isn't it? But when you look back on your career, when you're sitting there at 60, I think that's a good thing to look back on, isn't it? I thought here, there, everywhere, people booing, it's going crazy.
Sometimes you have to take a step back and think wow, that's great. That's not a normal life. And I always say I don't want to have a normal life.
Right.
And at the end, I've traveled a lot. I've done I fought in big promotion.
Yeah.
I fought in front of 50,000 people in Japan. It's a lot.
50, 50,
in Japan. So you're like, I've done some great things in my life. It's not going to stop now. I'm still fighting. But if it has to stop now, I could say I had a good career and life,
That's good, isn't it? That's fun, man. And have you got a timeline? Or are you just going?
Not really. I don't want to have to say I'm gonna stop at 39, 40, because when you say that, it's like you put limits in your head, and when you reach 40, you're like, oh, okay, so now I'm done. Exactly. And maybe you're not. But I just say, as long as I take pleasure when I train, when I fight, as long as I'm enjoying coming in the morning in training, and my body is fine, my body can train, I'll keep fighting.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Sometimes it's hard after a loss, especially after my last loss. You're like, it's 3 losses in a row, and you're like maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm done, maybe I'm not good anymore. But it's just the emotion, because you just lost a fight. But the day after, even 5 hours after, I'm like, no, man, I love this sport. I can't stop, because if I stop, I'm gonna regret. I'm gonna feel the same way I felt after gymnastics, and I want to fight again. I want to do more in this sport. So as long as I take pleasure, I'll keep fighting.
That's cool. And when you first started, was it like a career that you wanted, or was it just it was straight away?
When I start MMA, I start to do like a job. I want to make it like a pro. I want to make money in this sport. I want to do after my career. I want to do something like maybe having my own gym, or I don't know. But I want my career help me to do something, another business after. You know what I mean? So maybe make more money. I didn't know I would enjoy that much fighting, but I wanted to go 100%. Yeah. And when people do that, especially from doing this podcast and speaking to people and the different ways they answer questions and stuff, to what their idea was when they started, I think there's got to be a massive advantage of starting something and going, right, boom, I want to do this for a job, versus just have a try and see, right? Yeah, and I was 28, I was 28, I had a son, he was 4 years old when I start. Yeah, 4 years old. So you can't say, oh, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna travel, and no, I need to make money, because if I start training, I stop working.
Wow.
I'm not gonna work a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So I need to make money. I need to go 100% to make sure I can go for the big promotion, make money, or get sponsored. And yeah, I can't do this just for fun, because I have a son.
It's a brave thing to do, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like as a 28-year-old mother to go, no, I'm going to start fighting. Most people must have been like, what the fuck are you doing? It's crazy.
Yeah, and especially because before I was a gymnastic trainer. I was working maybe 15 hours a week for a good money, really good money. I have a good life in Guyana. I have my own flat, my car, my son, my life, my job, not working too much. I'm like, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
You
Now I'm gonna get punched in the head. Yeah.
For no money, you're not sure you're gonna make it, because it's a tough sport. But yeah, maybe I believed in myself. Maybe I believed in something like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I know I can't do a football player. I know there's a lot of things that I don't like, and there's a lot of sports I don't like. But this, I think I can make it.
And I think you got to go with it, right? Because you can only do that once, right?
And
you're 28. You can't do it when you're 50, right?
Yeah,
you got to like, this is my time. And
I knew I had like 10 years, you know, and I had to go like fast in the the big promotion.
Yeah, but now you said you're what, 36?
Yeah.
So like, what's your career ambitions from here now? Are you looking at specifics of what you want to do before you finish?
So now I reached some goals, which was fighting the best fighter in the world, being part of the best fighter in the world in my division, going to the big promotion. So now I have a name, if I can say that, and now I don't want to be just part of the best. I want to try to get some belts, you know, in my promotion. I want to fight again in Japan, in Rising. I want to try again to my title fight, because last time it didn't work. But yeah, now I want to I want to be in the top 3, you know, fighting the champion in all promotion. And I know I don't have a lot of time, but yeah, I need to make some money also.
Yeah, cool. But I mean, you don't look like someone who's 36, right? Some people at 36 look like they've been bounced off the wall for a couple of years. Like, you still look like you could easily pass for someone who's like
and I
in their
never
20s.
get no card in fight.
Right.
So I'm still able to fight.
Still there.
Yeah.
And you said to me beforehand, you're like French, you might not be able to speak English well. You speak English better than me, and the camera's getting it. So you must be doing something okay, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's a lack of confidence, but it's always hard for me yet.
But it's funny, you say that.
It's hard to do something that I'm not great, you know?
Yeah,
I always want to be great.
But you know what? It's funny. I've had maybe 5 or 6 people on this since I've been doing it that beforehand they've said, oh, can you talk slow to me because my English is They're the ones that English is fine. They're speaking like no problem. I'm like, I don't know why I even mentioned it. You're fucking English is no problem at all. But anyway.
Competitive things.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what it is. It's like you just, perfect. But like, take us through some of your fights. Like you said, you fought in Rise and you said it didn't work out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the first fight I had in Rising was in 2023. I fought Rena, which is a superstar there.
Okay. Is this a local girl? Is it a Japanese girl?
Yeah. I always fought Japanese girl. And this fight, so I won this fight in the 3rd round, 20 seconds before the end of the fight. If it was a decision, they will give to her, of course.
Right.
You know, I'm French, and it was close fight. But I won with a dog bar, a knee bar. Submission that I'm the only female fighter to have done it in MMA. It's
quite rare in MMA anyway, right?
So pretty good, you know, it makes like it went a little bit viral, you know. And then after this, they gave me a title fight, like few months after, 3-4 months after, big fight, because this girl in Rising, she's the number 1 in the world in the division. She's not just the number 1 in Japan. And that was a big fight. It was in the Saitama Arena, 50,000 people. And I was not ready for this kind of fight, you know.
The occasion, you mean?
I think I was ready, but I was feeling weird. I don't know. Usually when I go in fight, I'm enjoying, I'm laughing, I'm cool. But this one, I was really tense. I was not myself, and I didn't stick on my game plan. I just done something. She was a good grappler, not a good striker, and I took her down on the floor, and she submitted me in 70 seconds, in 1 minute. So that was really hard because when I finished this fight, for the first time in my career, I felt shame.
Okay.
You know, like, wow, there's a lot of people there. And because I fell asleep, she choked me out. So when I woke up, I was like, no way. In 1 minute, she choked me out. And I'm sleeping in front of all these people for a title fight. So that was really, really hard for me after this fight. I was really ashamed. And I was with Ashley at Grimshaw, and he say, what the fuck you talking about? You can't be ashamed when you're a fighter, when you do that. Nobody does this, you know. It's something, it's still amazing to be there and fight. And then they give me another fight. It was in 2024, so 14 months ago. That was a good fight. I think I was winning, but then she submitted me with armbar. So that was two submission in a row. And then I was like, yeah, okay, there's a problem with my grappling. I think at this level, you know, at this level of the fight, maybe I felt like a lack of confidence. So I trained a lot, but then I had my knee surgery last summer. So I stopped training. I've been out for 6 months, 5 months, and I just came back this year in January. So I think something happened this last 14 months, sorry. I don't know if I didn't train enough, or if I trained too much, or if I was too focused, I don't know, but something changed a little bit in my mind, and I need to get it back, you know. I need to find this fire inside my soul, you know.
Yeah.
Because, it's been a long time since my last fight, and I just fought last week, but it was 14 months after my last fight. And it was hard. These 3 losses, it was hard for me, but now I'm back. I'm ready to take what's mine, and we'll see.
But that's good. I mean, like, for someone who's had so many fights, and like as we said, like, you're in your 30s, you're not like you're 21 starting a career. You come through losses, and I'm sitting talking to you first time I've met you today, but there's like I want to get this type feeling in it, you know.
It's hard because it's not just myself. I'm a mom, as I say, and I'm 36, and I'm like, okay, I do a lot of sacrifice. I see my son 1 week a month, so I stay here for 3-4 weeks, then I go back home 1 week, and I do that every month. Okay.
Where's this back to France?
He's living in France with my mom.
Right.
So for me, it's like, it's hard to make a decision, like, should I continue fighting, training here in London, or should I go in France and stop fighting and living with my son and have a normal job, but maybe have some regrets, you know. It's hard to think about that, especially just after a loss or just after a fight. But at the end, I want to keep fighting. I know I can do something better than what I've done these last 2 years. I've proved that I can do great submission, great fights. I can win great fights. So now I'm ready to come back. And I think life is just challenging you every time. When you think you get stronger, when you think you finally, okay, I'm strong, life is easier, training is easier, fight is easier. Okay, now it's too easy. We're going to challenge you now. And that's what happened to me. Life is challenging me to see if I can get stronger, and of course I can. So I'm gonna prove it that I can.
Yeah.
But it's you have to stay focused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to stay focused and say, no, that's what I want to do, and I'm gonna continue even though it's hard. But
I think
life is always hard.
Yeah, as I said to you before, I think it's like, as a mum, it's a brave thing to do. It like, is your son into fighting? Does your son like it?
Not really. When he was 6 years old, I wanted him to do some wrestling, but it was just before COVID, you know. So then he stopped because of COVID, and now he loves football, like, more than everything, more than me maybe.
Right, yeah, of course.
So I can't do anything. But when I'm here in France, he likes to do pads with me, and
what does he think about you?
I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking, and he take my single leg, and
I'm
really?
Oh, right, yeah.
But he likes to train with me, but not with other kids.
Yeah, that's cool though. But 12, man, it's so young.
Yeah, he's young. He's 11, so
he's 11, right? Yeah.
Maybe later, maybe not. But I don't want to force him to do fighting.
I don't think you can, right?
I just
think
want
it's too hard.
him to get more confident. That's why I wanted him to do some wrestling, and I think it helps him. But if he doesn't like it, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. There's nothing worse. You see it all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been to Jiu Jitsu tournaments where you see a kid doing Jiu Jitsu and he doesn't really want to be there. And
I'm not like that. Yeah.
Leave him alone. You know what I mean? But is he a fan of you fighting? Does he like watching you?
Yeah, I think for him it's just normal. Yeah, it's my mom's job. Well,
yeah, my mum beats people up. Yeah.
So when I'm fighting, he's like, yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay. can I go with my friend to the
He's like, yeah, that's cool, mum. I'm busy.
I'm busy. After my fight, that's the thing. When I lost my last fight, I felt bad for my son. I was like, oh man, he's gonna be sad. So I sent him a message, and I even say I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry to spend so much time without you, and at the end I lost my fight. I don't even have my money because I want to have money to go on holidays with him, but I don't even have a lot of money because I lost my fight. Blah blah blah. And he sent me something like in English you would say no worry, but he say NW, just like that.
Just
two,
like
two
nothing.
later to say it's no big deal, and I was like, wow, he doesn't care. He's happy, which is good because at least he's not sad. He's not like
right.
oh my mom. No, he's like okay, life continue, mom. It's just a fight,
and think,
that's it. It's just a fight.
I was going to say it's just a fight. At the end of the day, I think
you make a big deal of something like. It's just a fight, and I'm gonna have another fight.
Yeah.
I'm not done. They're not gonna say, "Oh, okay, we don't want you anymore." No, they want me. They want me to fight again.
Especially someone who's passionate about it, like yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because we all know people as well that fight, but it's kind of like, okay, I'll do another one. Okay, I'll do another one because they want some money, right? Whereas like people that are driven and they actually want to fight and they want to achieve things and stuff like that. If you're promoting fight, obviously any promoters might know better than me, but that's got to be easier to deal with, isn't it, than someone you're trying to fucking convince to fight all the time.
Yeah, you have to do this sport for the good reason. If you do it for the wrong reason, like you want to show you as a fighter, oh look, I'm a fighter, or you want to do it for money, it's not gonna work.
No.
Maybe it's gonna work, but not for the long term and not at the high level. When it starts being really hard, the training is really hard, and the fight, fighting. If you win a fight, you like, oh, she's a beast, she's the queen of the world. Wow, she's amazing. If you lose a fight, you a shit.
Yeah.
You wash, she get choked out, she slept. She gets submit again and again. It's really hard, so you have to be tough. You have to love it, because if you don't love it, you can get depressed, or
of course,
yeah, it's
really
bad.
It's a hard thing to do. But listen, most people that don't fight, if they're criticizing you, who cares? They're not brave enough. They're not even brave enough to get in there. So,
yeah, exactly. I used to care when I was younger. I used to care about people's judgment, like everyone. I think, like a lot of fighters. But then I work a lot of myself with a mentor, coach. And now I don't care about normal people.
No, of course.
But I care about my coaches, my people. Not judgment, but I don't want to waste their time. I don't want. When I lost my fight, I say to Brad, I lose your time. I make you lose your time. I waste your time because look, you work so much with me. You come with me in USA, and I lose it in the first round. He was like, what? It's my job. I do it because I care, because I like you, and it's my job. So, yeah, it's hard for me, for my people, but for other people, I don't care.
Yeah,
they're always going to say something.
Oh, you can't win. Even if you won by a first round head kick in 10 seconds, they'd still say, oh, well, she didn't do it in 8 seconds.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's
always going to be something. But you said you worked with a mental coach. What sort of situation was that? And can you say who the mental coach was?
So, I've always been interested in all these psychology things. I read a lot of books. I've tried to work with some people, but it didn't really work. But I like to talk, to chat with people about that, about psychology. And this, after my surgery, so it was, I think, September, I've done a training in France, something for businessman. And I met someone who was a business coach. So he coached businessman, you know what I mean? And we start talking, and I was like, and then we say, yeah, I want to work with you. I think we said there's something, a good connection between you and me, and I need to improve that. I improved a lot in my life on my mindset, but now I have another step, to. I need to get even better. This level of fighting, I need to get better in my mind. So we start working together in October, and we've done maybe 4 sessions once a month. When I go in France.
Yeah, okay.
And it helped me a lot. But right now, after my fights, I'm writing everything that was wrong. Everything like a feedback. I'm doing a feedback after my fight, And I talk to him and I say, okay, I have a lot of things to tell you. I didn't know before the fight, but now I realize, and we're gonna work on that. And I can't wait to see him to work on that, because I always want to get better, like not just as a fighter, but as a person, as a human, you know, even for my personal life, for everything. So yeah, I really love to work on my mindset.
Yeah, because that stuff I find really interesting, because I think mental coaching more than anything else is one of them things that a lot of people sort of like, not a lot of people, but some people like dive into it, but they sort of overdo it, if you know what I mean. They kind of like, they put all their emphasis on that, and before you know it, they're not really training much physically anymore because they're worried so much about the mental side of things. And not that they're not training physically, but their emphasis is on that. Does that make sense? And they kind of like go too deep into it, where it's like everything's meditation and thinking, and like they're controlling their self, but then they start training and they're getting tapped out every time.
You have to find a good balance between everything. And I think a lot of mental coach, they only do the superficial.
Superficial.
Like it's more like, okay, you're gonna do meditation, deep breath, visualization, which is good, but that's not the work you have to do. You have to work on yourself, like deep in yourself. You know, I think you have to do a psychological work. If you see all this fighter, when someone fights someone, this person has trauma. Everyone has trauma. Everyone is fucked in the head, and you have to work on this. So, and it's not gonna. Some people are scared to heal themselves because they think, oh, maybe after I won't like I'll be out. I don't want to fight anymore because now I'm in peace with myself. No, if you like fighting, you still fight. We're still fighting, but you have to work on yourself because, I think it's deeper than just visualization and breathing. You know, so that's what I'm doing with this guy. We're going really deep. Like childhood and trauma, and that's what you need to do. But you have to be ready to do that work.
Right,
it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, when you see a psychologist, it's not easy. You have to face some things that you experience in your life. So, you have to be ready, but it's still, it's like everything. At the end, it's a good thing for you. It's just to get better, to get stronger in your mind. So I think it's important to do it.
Yeah, I think any little help you can get, and I think especially a sport like this, it's the little things, right? Everyone's tough and fit and strong and all that shit. There's the little, like, it's like you said when you was in Japan, you're normally relaxed and having fun and you're tense. Like if you took that out, like that changes a lot, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The mental is 60% of the fight. Yeah. And if you're not ready for any situation, you're gonna lose. Even if you're better in the gym, you can be better than your opponent. But if you're not better here, you can lose a fight in 1 minute.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, and like with that, is it? I mean, you said that you work on yourself, and it's like, is this like a daily thing that's like a conscious effort?
Not really. I think it's just we do one session a month, and then if I need to call him, if I need to talk to him, we do. But after a session, it's like, you always say, don't think too much. The work is fine. You're going to work on yourself like a lot. Don't think too much. But obviously, it's like every day you think a little bit about your last session and you start understanding things about you and why you're acting like that. And it just works by himself. You know what I mean? It's just every day, one person better.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And then if I have question or if I have something, I can call him and we can chat for an hour, 2 hours.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh wow.
But I think just in one session, 2 hours with him, we talk a lot and we find a lot of problem solution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I like it.
It's an interesting game, isn't it? It's very, is it one of them things, like from little experience I've got with working with mental coaches and stuff, it's like a never-ending game, right? It's like, you're never going to arrive. It's just, you're kind of just finding things.
That's the thing. Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I've solved this problem. Now I'm good. I'm good. Okay, now trauma, gone. Don't have trauma anymore. Gone. And then something happened in your life or, I don't know, and then you're like, okay, I thought it was better, but no. I still need to work on that.
Well, I find you take that out and you see there's 10 more behind it. You go, shit.
Okay, I thought, no. And then we need to work on that again. Or maybe this is solved, but we need to work on something different. you know, there's always something to work on.
Yeah,
always.
it's an interesting game, and like,
You know,
it's
the
one thing. It's something I always ask people about that are into the mental side of things, because it's good. But if we talk about like physical side of things, like we said earlier a little bit, like standard sort of fight training, typical is like we train twice a day, and it's a mix of wrestling, whatever, strength conditioning, blah, blah, blah. But what's like a normal week look like for you? And is there a difference between when you've got a fight lined up and when you haven't got a fight lined up?
Not really. I would say it's like I'm always in fight camp.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to
I
fight.
think you have to be, right?
Unless
at
I'm
level.
injured,
Yeah.
but yeah, I always train the same way. When I'm in training camp, I don't train more, or I don't train. Yeah, maybe I'm not gonna skip the sparring session, and maybe when I don't fight, I'm not gonna do two sparring a week. But also because at 36 years old, it's hard to recover.
Right,
so
okay.
I need to take care of my body also. But I always train the same. So I train every morning, 10 to 12, with the pro class. I come back home, I eat, I don't sleep, but I rest. I come back in the afternoon for another pro class, or for pads, or strength and conditioning. So it's 2 or 3 training a day. Then I have my PTs now, because now I need to
get that
work.
recovery.
Because I was injured, so I stopped fighting for 14 months. You're like, okay, money is not coming like that.
No.
You don't have sponsor. If you're not fighting, you're not getting paid.
Right.
So you have to work a little bit. So I train only women and girls, little girls, because I want to help women to the same way I help myself.
Yeah, right.
As a woman, I want to help them. I want to help them, to get better in their head, in their mind, but also in training in MMA or self-defense. So I work a little bit in the evening, and then I go home, I sleep, and the day after it's the same every day.
Yeah.
It's like a routine.
Yeah. But do you still enjoy it? Is it still something you like doing?
No, that's the thing. I'm happy to wake up and say, okay, I'm going to train. I'm
Right.
not going to the office. I'm not going to the store to work. I'm going to train.
Yeah.
That's my life. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes training is hard, but it's hard in a good way. You know, it's still a training. You're still enjoying. So I'm happy to have this life. But it's you have to get this routine. Mm-hmm. It's the high level sport. You're an athlete. You're a pro athlete. You have to do every day the same thing, same shit. Wake up at the same time and do your things, and don't skip training even if you're tired. I mean, it's discipline.
Of course, yeah. And like, do you have to be? I mean, this might be a silly question as well, but do you feel like you have to be selective who you train with? Because obviously, if you come to training and there's 3 guys on the mat that weigh 110 kilos, it's probably not best to start wrestling with them, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Do you have
Especially for me, because I'm the smaller in the gym.
That's what I mean.
The lighter.
Yeah.
I've always been the lighter, but we're lucky in this gym. We have 60 pro fighter or amateur fighter, but we have a lot of fighter. We have a lot of girls, so which is good. It's not in every gym that you can see 5-6 women on the mat.
Definitely not. No.
And MMA gym,
yeah.
not Jiu Jitsu, MMA gym. So we're lucky. I always have a partner for me. And even if there's no woman today for sparring, they may be gonna one guy, short guy, 60, 65 kilos. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do with him. And when I go with the guys, they always go lighter, or they control themselves.
Yeah.
Because everyone is a fighter. You're not going to a normal class with crazy people with big ego, like, oh, this girl, she beat me up, I'm going to beat her. No, we're all pro fighter. We all make it for money, for a living. So we have to be careful. We don't get injured for nothing, for no reason. So, we're lucky we're training in a good environment.
Yeah.
Good
And I mean,
good
here,
mentality.
Yeah, here, I mean, every time I've ever been here, there's just like 1,000 people on the mat anyway, right? So it's like everyone's
There's always
here.
someone for you, always.
Yeah.
And if not, if there's no one, you can do bags, you can
hit the bag. I was going to say hit the bag.
You always find someone to train. Even I know it's harder for me, but it's good to train with people who are heavier than me, because when you go in the fights, they feel lighter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I've experienced that, like myself, with grappling, especially more, because like I'm about 80 kilos. So like, it's not, I can go with bigger guys, obviously, but like you feel the difference. If someone's 100 kilos and they grab your neck versus like suddenly I'm back with someone my size, you go, oh, well, there's a benefit.
Yeah. Sometimes for example, I like kimura. Sometimes I do a lot of kimura on the girls. But when I go with the men, and I'm like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, today my kimura didn't work. No, because this guy is 70 kilos.
Yeah, of course, right.
He does this, you can't move his arm.
Yeah.
But it's just his strength and his weight, but no, it's not your technique. And I'm like, sometimes I need to think about that and not get through too much frustrating, you know.
Yeah. I think that's with everything, right? When you start getting frustrated, we've all been there. You know, in days you're on the mat or you're in the ring or whatever and it's just not working. We all have them days, right? Exactly. I'm terrible. I shouldn't do this. Yeah. But like going forward, like one of the first things you said today before we got on camera when I met you was talking about your fight and stuff. You was like, I can't wait to get back in. Blah 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 blah. What's next for you? Have you got anything lined up, or is there like ambitions of when?
So I fought for Invicta. For one fight, and before I fought, they say, okay, just do one fight, and if you like us, if you like the promotion, you're gonna sign a contract. They want me to sign a contract for a long time now, but I've been with Combate Global, then with Rising. I was waiting to sign a contract with Rising. I really wanted to sign with them, but I never get the contract. And right now, I don't know why is it with Rising. So my goal is to come back in Japan, but I know it's going to be hard because I'm on 3 losses. So I fought on Invicta, and I really liked them. I really like fighting for them. They're really good people. Money is not that good, but I'm not fighting for money. I want to come back in the win. I want to get more confident and get some good win and rebuild myself again, you know, because I was there, then I came down. Right. Now I have to come back. That's why I say life is challenging you. Yeah, that was great, but now that's not good. You have to come back. So you can't really choose where you're fighting. But this is a good promotion, like really good promotion for women. They have my division, which is not the case for every promotion. Right. And they have some of the good fighters in the world also. So it's still a good place to fight. So I say to my manager, I think the day after the fights, after saying, I'm not sure I want to fight again, then I say, I want to fight in July. So call them on Monday. What day is today? Wednesday?
Wednesday's today,
I have to text him.
Straight away.
but yeah, of course I want to fight. I really want to fight, and I want to be busy this year. Yeah. Like, I want to do 2 or 3 more fights.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, this year.
Nice. Get out there.
Because I'm always training. So why are you training, and if you don't fight for 6 months, why?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And you've already had 14 months off of injury, right? So you've had 14 months off of your injury. So it's like you want to get back.
I'm good. My knee is fine. My weight is fine. So if I get busy, if I still training, I'm not going to get too fat.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right.
Fight in 2 months. So no, I'm ready to fight again. I'm frustrating for my last fight. So,
But you'll get back in now. I can see the passion's like burning off you, like the energy's coming off you.
I feel like I touched the bottom, you know, and it's like more like a trampoline. Like, okay, now I'm bouncing back. I'm coming back, and I'm gonna get this fire back. You know, it's not gone.
Yeah, I got you.
It's somewhere inside me, and I just have to take.
Yeah, well, boom. Look, I really appreciate it. This has been brilliant. So, but before we do, I don't know if you've seen any of these. I always ask people the most important question of the day. Here he comes. Here he comes. I think we're going to have a fun episode tomorrow with Mr. Brad Pickett. He's before he might have took some clothes off when I was doing one behind the mirror at one point, but not today. So thank God for that. But before we finish it, today's not the day. Yeah. But before I finish up, I always ask people the most important question. This decides whether we stay friends or not. Which football team do you support? Football team. I'm not. Chelsea, very good. Well done.
My son is PSG.
The PSG, that'll do. I'll take PSG. You can have PSG. But as I say, I appreciate you doing this. I always finish with a fist up like this. Fist up.
Yes.
I forgot my offline. Then you threw me. Squeeze the neck. Boom.